to the FnVic build. This is a 1972 F250 that Keith purchased from a friend that had started a restoration. Most of the metal work was done already. Only the passenger floor pan and cab mount need to be welded in yet. This is how we found it. In amongst the trees. It was well preserved, but was in pieces and no powertrain. The donor vehicle is a 2004 Crown Victoria that was hit in the quarter panel, but had just over 80,000 kilometers, which works out to be 50,000 miles. Here we've gutted the cab. There's not much left in here. Floor got welded in along with the tunnel cover. It used to be a 4-speed, I believe. And so we just welded that in because there's no need to have it with the Crown Vic powertrain underneath it. Here it's painted. Keith's friend who had the vehicle before us, he did a really good job of welding in most of the sheet metal. He's a professional welder by trade, so a lot of these parts went in very nicely. All we had to do was clean up some of the welds and color match the paint that's what we done here. And then we test fit the cab just to make sure everything worked and we knew exactly where to put the cab mount. So then once that was done, we undercoated the cab just to make sure that it would stay good for another 50 years. Some small patches had to be done on the doors. It wasn't much. This one was pretty clean compared to some of the other ones that we've done. We found that some people were actually keeping the air conditioning from the Crown Victoria, so Keith made a patch panel right in the firewall to accept the air conditioning unit and the air box from the car itself. Here the front sheet metal goes onto the truck just to make sure everything fits. We can get everything put back into place. Next was the box. It's a long box, so in order to make it onto the Crown Vic, we had to cut 15 7/8 to 16 inches out of the box, and here, and rather than cutting it right out of the middle of the box, we cut it off the end so we could hammer it over the edge and make a clean cut so nobody would actually see that it was actually done. You can see we cut around the pocket and welded it back together and patinaed it back to where it was so you couldn't see that it was even done. Next we made mounts for the box floor to get that into place and mount the box onto the truck so we could put the floor in it. We had to put new side panels on it because obviously raising it up, it didn't fit over the wheel wells anymore. So we had to get that in, and then we patinaed both sides of them to make them look like it had never been done. We had to somehow mount the rad to the chassis and also to the rad cradle so that we could make sure that everything stood up there and it was solid. Next we put the bumper brackets on to the frame so we could mount the bumper. We used the complete wiring harness out of the car so we could use the intermediate wipers. So we took the original motor and mounted it to the Ford bracket, the F250 bracket with the arm, and we were able to mount that right into the truck and make the intermediate wipers work. And on the dash you can see that it mounted on the firewall on the inside. On the original Crown Vic, that motor would have been mounted in the engine bay, so we had to move the wiring harness to the inside, but it worked really well. Here you can see that we have insulation on the firewall. We put the air conditioning unit and heater box and everything from the Crown Victoria right into the truck, and it fits underneath the dash. It's actually, it worked out pretty good. It's the venting was a little more difficult to hide, but we did that with the console. You'll see that in the upcoming pictures. Because we used the wiring harness and everything, we used the temperature control so the air conditioning would work. We used the light switch, traction control, the radio, everything got put back into the truck. Here the truck's nearly done. We have some small finishing touches that need to be done. Paintwork. There's some lights that need to go in. Rear bumper needs to go on. But we're really close at this point. These are the wheels that went on it. Brand new ones. Picked them up, put new tires on them. The truck was nearly ready to go. There's a few more things that we need to do. Paint correction work, mirrors, but it's really close at this point.